Welcome to WWE's new era, which is the glazing era, okay? Basically, what I mean by this is that WWE is now basically filled with their media, their announcers, their own wrestlers who are basically glazing everything that they're doing 24/7. And really what it boils down to is that wrestlers today are basically doing like 1/4 of the work that wrestlers back in the day used to do, and they're getting rewarded or getting treated like they're doing 10 times more. Do you get what I'm saying? It boils down to simple things like this, for example, right? I was talking to one of my buddies earlier who was absolutely irritating me at this point. He was basically trying to tell me that CM Punk is a better promo worker than John Cena, right? And this is just obviously, you cannot prove an opinion, right? If I say that Seth Rollins is like better on the mic than like Montez Ford or something like that, there's no factual way or statistical way that I can prove that to be accurate. So it's all opinion. However, you can insert some facts and some sort of actually like modicum of knowledge involved with it. You get what I'm saying? So if John Cena has been cutting great promos for 20 years plus, but CM Punk, for example, has been cutting great promos in the public eye, like on a main roster, or like, how he's in AEW for 2 years, or WWE on the main roster for like 5 or 6 years or whatever, which is what, maybe 8 to 9 years total, outside of the stuff he did in like ROH and all the other stuff, right? You compare those 8 or 9 years to what John Cena did in 20 years, 20 years of great promos versus 9 years of great promos. It's easy to see that John Cena overall is a better promo worker. Now, the pipe bomb is iconic, but John Cena doesn't have iconic promos. Do you see what I'm saying? He has multiple, hundreds of them at this point. John Cena went toe-to-toe and destroyed The Rock on the mic. He's destroyed Orton on the mic. He's destroyed Roman Reigns on the mic. John Cena has been good with Seth Rollins on the mic, AJ Styles, all these different people. Seth Rollins even, you know what I'm saying? Triple H, multiple different times. Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon. This dude had CM Punk himself. Like, it's just absolutely absurd. John Cena at this point is an absolute legend. He's obviously, in my opinion at least, the greatest of all time. But the point is that in today's current WWE, wrestlers don't do any work but get treated as if they're 10 times better because of one or two things. Do you see what I'm saying? And this relates obviously to stupid narratives from like Triple H, Michael Cole, all the other jobbers, right? Basically saying things like Cody Rhodes has the Cena schedule and he's defended the championship like 6 times in a year. Rhea Ripley like 3 or 4 Raw matches in like 400 days. Gunther, the quote-unquote workhorse champion who's fought maybe like 5 matches in 5 months. You know what I mean? They take narratives that were built off of the old backs of WWE wrestlers like Undertaker, Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, other people like that, legitimate workhorses, and try and adjust those narratives to fit this current roster. So they say things like, oh, this is the best the roster's ever been. Like, no, it's not. There's nothing to support that whatsoever. Not even opinions can support that. So it's just absolutely absurd. Cody Rhodes, for example, right? Cody Rhodes, in my personal opinion, I've said this a million times, obviously, he has potential to be a decent mid-carder. I think he would be an amazing U.S. champion with his gimmick, the American Nightmare. I think it would be great for that. But him being a main eventer is evident that they just glaze whoever is available. There's nothing that Cody Rhodes does that is better than like Montez Ford or Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns or any CM Punk even at this stage. He's a better wrestler in the ring than CM Punk right now, but he's not better at anything else than CM Punk is. You know what I mean? He's not even honestly, let's be real with ourselves for a second here. LA Knight is way better than Cody Rhodes. Let's just be honest. In terms of strictly talent and ability, he's better than Cody Rhodes. But Cody Rhodes has a favorable position and is viewed at as having the Cena schedule when he's had 6 or 7 title defenses in 9 months as a full-time wrestler. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why in the world are we giving credit to these guys and saying they took the Cena schedule? Cody Rhodes has the Cena schedule, but he's wrestled 1/10 as much as John Cena did when he was champion back in the day. It doesn't make any sense. People do 1/2 of the credit and get 10 times the reward now. It's absurd. And the fact that Cody Rhodes is treated as some megastar in the industry and is getting glazed into oblivion, right? We see Drew McIntyre comes out like he always does. Hi, my name is Drew McIntyre. I'm a Scottish Warhammer, and I can't stop thinking about Punk, and I can't stop thinking about Cody, and I love you, and you've been carrying the company on your back, and the numbers show it, the stats show it. This is the best era of WWE. No, it isn't. On what narrative and what metric is this the best era of WWE? Can someone please explain that to me? How? It's just not, it's not possible. The viewership used to be higher. More people used to watch it. The quality, subjectively speaking, because it's an opinion, obviously, for me, I think that the quality was better in the 2000s and in the Attitude Era than it is now. That's just me. Now, other things like the camera quality and, some of the editing may be better now, which it probably is better now. But in terms of the quality of promos and the quality of feuds in storytelling and iconic moments, there's no way that you can say that this current era is better than anything of that era. It's impossible, man. But somehow, we're led to believe this again because Triple H and Michael Cole consistently tell us how great everything is. And this is another point that I can't wait to talk about this. The weirdest thing now in today's WWE is that everybody who's allegedly great, you know what I'm saying, or everything that is allegedly great or every PLE, whatever, has to be told to you that it's great. Just think about this. When Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were on commentary, for example, did you ever hear them when like The Rock would come out, or Stone Cold would come out, or someone else would come out, right? And literally any actual legend came out. You never heard Jerry Lawler, or even Michael Cole back in the 2000s, or anybody saying things like, oh, this person is the captain of the industry. Oh, Edge, look at him. He looks great, man. He's the captain of the industry. He's the leader of the industry, the North Star of the business. He's carried WWE on his back. No one said things like that back then because you don't have to tell people that someone is great. Most of the time, they just know it. When you're watching a basketball game and you see Steph Curry pulling up from 35 feet away from the basket, nobody has to tell you, oh, he's the greatest player, he's the greatest shooter on the planet. He's amazing. He's this, he's that. You can see it. What, the fact that they have to consistently tell you these things over and over again lets you know that these people are either not that great really, or WWE has to try to fit the idea in your head that these people are way better than what they actually are. It's absurd at this point. It's the same thing with people like Gunther, Rhea Ripley, etc. Gunther, for example, is built up as some massive in-ring technician who's one of the best technicians in the world. He's amazing in the ring. He's a workhorse champion, as they call him, and he's amazing. How many championship defenses has Gunther had since he won the belt back in August? Just think about that for a second. You can't even probably think of all the defenses he's had because the World Championship is meaningless now. But we're supposed to be told that this is the second most prestigious title in the company? What? The glazing and the lying is absolutely absurd. WWE consistently lies to us over and over and over again and just doesn't stop. Rhea Ripley, again, booked like an absolute Superman level character, but for some odd reason, we're always told mommy's on top. All these other stupid sayings, but for some odd reason, nothing that she's done has actually proved this. What makes Rhea Ripley better than Becky Lynch? What makes her better than Charlotte Flair? What makes her better than Bianca Belair? Do you see what I mean? What makes her better? Honestly, let's be real with ourselves. What makes her actually better than Io Sky? Io Sky, obviously English isn't her first language, so she doesn't cut promos as well, but in ring alone strictly, how is she better than Io Sky? Nobody knows the answers to these questions. Let's be real with ourselves, right? But we're supposed to believe that Rhea Ripley is some dominant force that can't be stopped for 2 or 3 years straight. It's absurd at this point. Every single thing is built off of a lie and a cliche narrative that they're trying to force into our heads. But thankfully, I'm not letting this stuff be forced because this is absolute and utter nonsense. This is a bunch of lies, and actually, it's pretty ridiculous that they're even saying these things because Triple H is the one he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of WWE, in the history of professional wrestling in general. And the fact that he's sitting back here and okay with these narratives and these lies being spewed out is really embarrassing. It truly is. You know, the corporate shilling of The Rock recently, for example, has been very embarrassing. But at his worst, it's never going to get better than what we're seeing, or get worse, I should say, than what we're seeing with Triple H. All of these wrestlers now are not wrestling really at all. You know what I'm saying? Rhea Ripley, for example, well, how do I even describe this, right? Rhea Ripley basically doesn't wrestle. That's basically the end of the discussion. You see what I'm saying? It really is just sad. Rhea Ripley at this point has had how many Raw matches in the last year? Like 3 matches in the last year on Raw, or maybe 4, and that's pushing it. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. How can you wrestle 3 times on weekly television in a year span and be viewed as a legend? How can Cody Rhodes have 7 title defenses or 6 title defenses in a year as champion dang near and be treated as the top guy in the company? You know what I mean? No one has any effort anymore. Braun Breaker is in his mid or late 20s, and he's in his prime as the Intercontinental Champion. And we have seen this dude on Raw maybe 3 times in the last 2 or 3 months. Maybe 3 or 4 times. And if we see him more than that, it's always a backstage segment. He's had maybe 3 matches max in the last 2 months on Raw. It's sad. Tiffany Stratton, again, how many singles matches has she had over the last few months? You know? It doesn't work, man. It really doesn't. The constant lies and the constant BSing and the glazing of every single wrestler is just disgusting. You know, Gunther's an in-ring technician who can't be stopped. He's a beast in the ring. Gunther is a legend. He's amazing. But all of a sudden, he doesn't wrestle. He doesn't cut promos. He doesn't show up to work. What is the process here? You're now called amazing for doing nothing. You know, back in the day, John Cena, you know what I'm saying? Even CM Punk back in his prime, you know, Edge, you know, Seth Rollins, right? I'm going to include Roman Reigns because they were in the early 2010s as well, you know what I mean? So those people, right? Even, you know, Batista, Orton, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, player, you know, all these people, Chris Jericho, you know, Big Show, Kane, all of these people not only are way better than this era of wrestlers that we have now, but on top of that, they used to work pretty much every single week. Every single week, they would cut a promo and then wrestle that same night. Or John Cena would defend his championship every single week or on every single pay-per-view. And he was a consistent workhorse. And they took what he did and called it the Cena schedule and attached it to guys like Cody and Gunther who wrestle 6 times a year. It's ridiculous. I don't understand this logic now, man. And we have to sit here and be straddled with this nonsense every single week, you know? And you wonder why people are tuning out of the product more and more. Well, this is why. Because of nonsense like this. Lies. You know what I'm saying? Hypocrisy. No wrestling. Bad promo work. It really is just embarrassing, man. And that pretty much sums up what this video is about. This is going to be one of my shorter videos, but it is a very simple point that just needs to be discussed, okay? WWE is consistently glazing, they're consistently lying, and they're disrespecting the past. And all of that makes for a product that overall is not only misleading, but it's also very nonsensical at the same time. So hopefully they can change this stuff and stop just blatantly lying inside of our faces and putting out false narratives and making the fans' minds cultivated to saying and believing things that aren't even true. But at the end of the day, who knows what's going to happen with you ready for garbage. So we'll just see what happens with that. But at the end of the day, I thank you guys for watching, and as always, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Peace out. One love.